You are now watching the ODTV.
What's good, YouTube? Your boy Brock Brown, ODTV, Dallas Cowboys TV. I want to talk for 1 second about Super Saiyan Dakarot Prescott. And I really mean that because I don't think people understand football as much as we love football. And that's fine. We don't have to. Everybody have to understand everything the same way. You don't have to get into the X's and O's or the next gen stats or the analytics or just the plain logic of what's going on. And I want to say this. Every year since Dak Prescott has been in the league, he has thrown the ball more times than in his previous seasons, right? And this year is not going to be any exception at all. It's not going to be any exception at all. Because when you look at Dak's passing attempts, and I just want to add in before I get started in on the greatness of kind of how they brought Dak along, because they brought him along right. Dak Prescott, I believe there was a lot of right to start out with. It was not a hard project. I believe Dak Prescott came mostly already made up of the right things. And I think everybody said that. I'll give every talking head. They might have said don't pay him for this reason. They might have said he's not a franchise quarterback for this reason. Everybody has their own stances and opinions about things. But I think that when it comes to like leadership and intangibles, durability, touchdown to interception, just coherentness, paying attention to what's going on, being conscious of making mistakes and those being on him. Dak's always been that guy. He never had to go through a phase where he was a finger pointer. He never had to yell at people. He seems like the type of guy who doesn't have to raise his voice to get his point across. And what I mean by that is when you look at Dak Prescott, the thing that's most impressive about Dak Prescott to me, the reason he's looks like he's going to throw for over 5,000 yards this season, and I believe he will, because I believe that the Cowboys are going to play some bad teams and they're going to play some good teams that just aren't going to risk Ezekiel Elliott, the presence of him busting loose and having a big game. There are some teams that are just going to say, nope, Dak will have to do the same thing to us. Our cover guys are better than Detroit's. Our cover guys are better than Minnesota's. He won't be able to do that to us. Our cover guys are better than the Eagles. And they'll find themselves as wrong because Dak Prescott is who Dak Prescott says he is. Super Saiyan Dakarot Prescott. That's exactly who he is. 100%. I just want to run off the attempts for you real quick. 459 in 2016, 490 in 2017, 526 in 2018, and in 10 games he's at 365 so far this year. But to me, again, this is the most impressive thing about Dak Prescott in my personal opinion. 2016 completion percentage, 67.8. You know what the haters would say? Oh, well, it's easy when you throw the ball less than 500 times. And then he loses Zeke for those 6 games, and that doesn't just affect him, that affects the whole offense. So he has the worst completion percentage of his career, 62.9. And to me, that's 62.9. If that's Dak's floor, that's worth $35 million. Because that's better than Carson Wentz's floor. That's better than Jared Goff's floor. That might be better than Deshaun Watson's floor. Lamar Jackson plays a completely different game. And Patrick Mahomes is the equivalent of a volume shooter. He's like a Stephen Curry type. The more he throws the ball, the more he can hurt you. A lot like Drew Brees in his prime. But I'm going to stay on topic. Like I said, the reason why this is the most impressive stat about Dak to me is because in 2018, he goes 67.7. And this year, he's at 67.7. So in 3 of Dak Prescott's 4 years, start off with in all 4 years, he's completed better than 62%. All 4 years of his career, he's completed better, 62% or better. And in the other 3 years, he's at 67.7. The rookie year is 67.8, but like I said, that's the least amount of times you're going to see Dak Prescott throw the ball in this 4-year span. It's 459 times. I promise you that Dak Prescott will throw the ball more than 100 times for the next 6 games. 100 will put you at 465. So, yeah, he's going to throw the ball. I'm just making a point. You can get into the yards, right? He threw for 38, 85 last year, 33, 24 the year Zeke was suspended, and 3,667 yards his rookie year. He's at 3,221 yards in the first 10 games this season. Dak Prescott is on pace to throw the ball for 5,000 yards. Now, the second most impressive thing to me when I look at Dak Prescott's stat line this season, and the reason why it's second is because I don't know where it will end. The situations that come about in a game will dictate where it will end, but it would be the touchdowns. 23, 22, 22, and he's at 21 right now. I mean, you have to just listen to the touchdown percentages. 5 his first year, 4.5, 4.2, and right now he's at 5.8. So even though he has 9 interceptions, Dak Prescott is on pace to throw for 30 something touchdowns, man. Do you understand that that is exactly in the long run one of the hardest things to find in all of sports? It's called consistency. Now teams are going to have to respect Dak Prescott if he just finishes this season like this. If he plays this next 6 games the way he's played this year for 10 games, and Dak Prescott has no reason that you would believe in your mind that he won't. He hasn't. When has he ever shown you? Dak's floor, like I said, as Cowboy fans, we can't get caught up in the TV hype. That's for people to make money. They know that people love the Cowboys. They know that they have the biggest fan base of any sports team on earth. When it really boils down to it, got Cowboys fans all over the globe. The thing you have to get is Tony Romo was up and down. Troy Aikman was bad in the beginning, and he got better and better and better and better until he was great. But this guy, when you look at Dak Prescott's numbers from each of his years, when you look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, Dak Prescott is the same as that quarterback. It's just now, mentally, he understands how to work, who he is. He's not learning necessarily on the job. Of course he's learning. As he plays his whole career, he'll learn. But what I'm saying is his rookie year, he was trying not to crash. His second year, he had expectations of his rookie year, but you go from a last place schedule to a first place schedule. And then you lose Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games when the whole world believes that that's your driving force, and you pretty much made him the focal point of your offense. Because remember, Amari Cooper doesn't get here till last year. Michael Gallup is brand new. This is Randall Cobb's first year here. So, and when I mean Michael Gallup is brand new, it's his first year as a starter. Everyone knows what I mean, I hope. But the point is, Dak Prescott, I don't think there's any question when you look at, as they say, his body of work, the whole catalog. I don't think there's any question that Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Because this is a guy who doesn't have the strongest arm. This is not a first round draft pick. This is a guy who inherited one of the most reckless cars you could possibly navigate in the Dallas Cowboys, with all the ups and downs that we go through, with the changes of this, the changes of that, the new guys coming out, the people, things being expected of them and them not performing, all types of stuff. But yet and still, when you look at Dak's work, when you look at Dak Prescott's work, you have to give him his credit. If he plays like this for the rest of his career, and I don't mean throwing for 300 something yards, you're going to have good games, you're going to have bad games all throughout your career. But what I'm saying is, if Dak Prescott, I'll make it easy for you, for naysayers. If Dak Prescott averages 67%, has a 67% completion percentage for the rest of his career, he'll go down as a Hall of Famer. If I don't think people understand how high that is. And he's been doing it since his rookie year. 70% is great. I mean, Pro Bowl, all pro great. If you play 16 games and you complete 70% of your passes, that's great. That is great. He is completing 67% of his passes 3 or 4 years. Dak Prescott is just a quarterback who's smart with the ball. Dak Prescott is a quarterback who, yes, he learned and learned and learned. Well, he know now. He knows what he's doing. He knows he doesn't have the strongest arm. So before the game, you see him working out, trying to create torque with his hips. He added that to his throwing mechanics so that he can throw the ball harder and further. Are you seeing the fade throws that he's making to the sideline that are passing people, that are going right in front of the corners, right in front of the outside defender? Are you not seeing? I think everybody is starting to come around to see that Dak is not the same player that he was. He's the same player in philosophy. He's a different player as far as confidence, as far as knowledge, as far as what he now knows as a fact and what he was being taught to believe in to believe in. Before, he was being told that this will work, that this will work. Now he knows that this will work because he knows how to make it work. I'm impressed with Dak Prescott. I'm purely impressed. I think that the next 6 games are going to write a major story as far as it goes with Jerry Jones' checkbook when it comes down to the nitty gritty of this thing. Jerry wanted to wait and see how it went. Pressure didn't get to him. He's actually played the best of any of his years. But yeah, I definitely think that, man, he isn't. Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind right now. And I think that anybody who's a Cowboys fan right now, you should be confident that the issue shouldn't be, and probably most likely won't be, the quarterback throughout this 6-game run to see if we can get this playoff game. Super Saiyan Dakarot Prescott, man. That's all I'm going to tell y'all. Brock Brown, the ODTV, Dallas Cowboys TV. Peace.